Welcome everyone to this master class. You we are welcome to teacher for today. Uh, master class for Venerable Gyelse Kadrin and Markus. We are so happy to have you here for this special session. Masterclass offer a wonderful opportunity to go deeper together and engage the teaching with greater reflection and care. Thank you for joining us at ACI Five Houses. Let's begin.
Supposed to check with the tech table. Are we ready to go? Yes. So first I wanted to ask, I know class ended a little late. It's been kind of the theme today. Has everybody had enough time to stretch, or do we need to have a quick little stretch before sitting through another class? Okay, let's everybody get up. Let's just do whatever you need to be able to sit for a little while more, stretch your back, your legs, your shoulders. It's a lot of sitting, isn't it? Okay, thank you. So there's Markus online. We're doing this hybrid class. Hi, Markus.
Hello, everyone.
Which is always very interesting to do, to have somebody online and then people in the room with you. And this play of going back and forth, it's always very interesting to do that. It's different than just doing a Zoom class or doing a live class, this kind of hybrid thing. So we'll see how it goes. So we were asked today to talk about the fear of silence and how it's married to the perfection of patience. And I know when I first got this subject, it was like, I'm not scared of silence. I don't know what the heck I'm going to say. I'm very happy on my own, being quiet.
It doesn't work.
My mic is...
No, it doesn't work.
Hello, hello?
Yes.
Okay. I'm very happy to be quiet. And silence... The only time I'm uncomfortable with silence sometimes is with other people. When we've had a conversation and then all of a sudden doesn't feel like there's anything more to say. And I feel uncomfortable in that gap. If it's somebody I don't know. If it's somebody I know, it's like not a big deal. It's like I can sit in that silence comfortably. So it's like I don't know what to say about this. But we began discussing it earlier this week between the three of us about especially silence in retreat and how having a lack of silence in our lives, when we go into retreat, what do we do? Because we're not used to having that much space and that much time. When somebody's not asking us to do something, or we have to go to work, or we have to take care of the kids, or we have to do this, or we're scrolling on our electronics. Because what happens outside of retreat, you bring into retreat. right? It's very difficult to just leave it at the door to the retreat. So let's start with you, Markus. Can you talk about some of your experiences? I see him down here, so that's why I'm looking down here. Some of your experiences of how it has impacted your retreat, how it has impacted your outside life, what some of the difficulties have been. And then later we'll talk about what some of the things he's brought to it to work with it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your introduction.
Oh, we can't hear you yet.
1, 2, 1, 2. Do you hear me?
We cannot hear.
No.
We're not hearing you.
I will make 1, 2, 3. Online is everything okay, but it's not live right now. Yeah, it's getting better.
Unmute yourself
I
on your
did.
Zoom.
Yes.
Please unmute.
Yes, yes, yes. 1, 2.
But we can't.
So maybe you have to translate.
We're having technical difficulties. This will probably be a good class.
Yes.
Speaking of silence, exactly.
So let's see.
Markus is sharing
get
his
this going?
silence with us.
Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now maybe it works. Yeah. Obstacles removed. Great. So you hear me good enough that I can talk. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Good. Not good.
Keep going.
Yes. So let's see.
They're
if I get it going. Yeah.
They're adjusting your level. They're adjusting your levels back.
Okay. Then I speak again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's try another 1, 2, 3. So maybe the audience can tell me if they hear me still.
I'm waiting for the thumbs up from the tech table.
Great. Thank you for your help.
We can't hear you at all now.
Okay. Wow.
Can you hear me?
1, 2. So here online, everybody is hearing me very well. So it only depends about the live audience. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, we can start?
Yes.
Great. So you asked me about some experiences I had when I went into retreat about silence. So the first thing which comes to mind and came to my mind was one of my first retreats. When I went into the retreat, I was busy until the last day when I started the retreat. And then I went into the retreat. And you know, when you do that, you take your mind with you, you take your habits with you. And I took all my habits with me, meaning the mind did the same thing which he did before. What means he went on thinking about work, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, what will I do after the retreat? But what he didn't do, because I didn't prepare my mind for a retreat, and I realized it afterwards, that I keep my mind in the retreat. And this is a trap which really moved into. I realized it afterwards, after the retreat, that actually my mind was totally not in the retreat, but still in all the places where he can go. And when you really observe your mind in the retreat and you learn about, and you take all the habits with you. And so he did that thing which he did before and which he wanted to do afterwards. And so silence was in that case for me scary, that I wasn't prepared for silence. I didn't take time before. That's what I realized afterwards, to take time before, to get more and more in silence and prepare your mind a week, a couple of days before. It depends how much time you have, but really to take time that mind can slow down and get into retreat. And also then have this kind of awareness or watchfulness, what your mind does, it keep in the retreat. And this is a really important learning for me when I started retreats, to really watch my mind in retreat and getting the mind back into the retreat, not to the job, not to daily life, not in the future what I will do, but staying here in meditation, in practice, in reading some lectures about the topics of like emptiness and stuff. So yeah, that's my first take on how silence affected me when I went in the first time, or one of my first times.
Am I on? Thank you, Markus. And what about you, Kadrin? What about retreat and silence and how you worked with that, especially in your first retreats?
I worked on my retreats. It was a long path, because when I started, I couldn't do retreat almost at all, because on the second day or something, I got lung. It's tension in my heart. I couldn't sleep, and I didn't know why. I had no idea what to do with it. And in one of my first retreats, it was kind of long retreat here in Cottage 21. I remember that I woke up at night and I have so much pain in my heart and in my left little finger. And I thought, oh, it's a sign that I have a heart attack. Probably I will die here. Probably in the morning I will already dead. But what can I do now? So, and I really thought it's kind of heart attack. And it was long. It was tension, and it took a long time for me to figure out how to deal with it and what to do with this energy, which is coming up and it's stuck in my heart, and that's it. It just it felt like a fireball in my heart, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, so it was pretty bad. And then it's slowly getting better and better and better, and how many times came? So I started to do retreat in 2016 or 17 and did it twice a year almost all the time. And just last year it became kind of, I was able to do a month retreat with with a little bit long. I cannot say no.
So what about, did the lung relate to silence and being in silence?
Of course. It's connected, because when I'm alone, I cannot talk to somebody else, I cannot watch movies, I cannot put my attention to something around. I have to put it inside, and I have to be alone with myself. And something is coming up, and I totally wasn't ready to that. And I felt sometimes I felt angry with no reason at all, because there is no people around, and I get angry at somebody, and I don't know to whom I can put this anger. It's like a coat you want to put into a hanger, and you cannot find a hanger to put the coat. But for sure you have this coat in your hands. So it was kind of learning. It was a lot of learning in this process. And for sure this tension was caused, the mind which was not ready for the retreat because it was running, and then it stopped in silence, and I didn't know what to do. So what I found out for myself, that I have to go slowly into retreat and then go slowly out of the retreat. Then it helps.
What about in your daily life? How comfortable are you with silence?
I'm happy with silence. I'm happy to be alone. I'm happy with myself, so I'm not totally not scared of silence. And I don't have TV in my house, I don't know, for 20 years or something. I don't have radio, I don't have music. I'm a person who doesn't listen to music. I know it's my bad. So I don't need sounds, and I turn off radio in my car when I'm driving. So I'm very good with silence, but there is something else. How is your retreats? Venerable Gyelse finished 3-year retreat. 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. Here in Diamond Mountain, 1,000 days retreat.
Enough.
Okay.
The first retreat I ever went on was a group retreat, and it was totally silent. In a group like this for 10 days, and we didn't talk at all. We kept silence. I think the biggest thing at that time is kind of like Kadrin was talking about, is something comes up and you kind of want to connect with someone about it. It's like, can I tell you about this? Is this what should be happening? You know, having this doubt, and wanting to be able to communicate, because I think what I really realized in that first retreat was in the silence, because I had nobody to be a mirror to, right? They weren't a mirror for me in silence, because it wasn't just silence of talking. It was also something called noble silence, where you don't even look at people. You keep your gaze down, because we're constantly looking to the outside world to confirm who we are and that we're okay. And so in that silence, I was like, who am I? If I don't know how other people are reacting to me, right? So it was very interesting to navigate that. And I think in my experience, I've done a lot of retreats, and this is, mountain house. Done a lot of retreats that I have embraced that silence to hear much better what's going on in my own heart and my own mind. Because then I can understand the habits, the seeds, what causes things in the world, right? But I know, like my dad, he couldn't sit without the television on, the radio on, and people talking around him. And I have absolutely no tolerance for that. In the dining hall, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. It's too noisy. And I like to go and find a quieter place to be. So that's kind of my experience. I love the silence. And I like being with people when I'm with people. Right? But now I want to know about your experiences. How do you relate to silence in your own life? Like, do you need to turn the television on first thing in the morning? Or get on your phone? That's like, That's the last thing I do in the morning. My phone is turned off. It's not until after I've, done all of my morning stuff and my meditation and some exercise and had something to eat. Then I turn my phone on. But I think as a culture, all of us need or have this addiction to a lack of silence, to constantly having things coming in. When you get in retreat, you got to process all that stuff. It's like eating food. You got to digest it. And you will find in retreat a song that you heard 15 years ago will come up in your mind because you put it in there, right? So what are some of your experiences? And also online people. Markus is definitely going to be watching that closely. Do you have fear of silence?
I didn't think I did. And then I heard this, and now I realize, oh yeah, all of that actually was a fear of silence. I thought I was a person who loved silence and my space and my quiet and the phone's off and great, good night book club for that space and then when I heard what Markus said, it was like, oh my God, I've done a significant amount of retreat and I feel like I've escaped retreat in all of my retreat because of an unaware tendency to run away from something, and I guess we're calling that silence now, and just imagining the potency of what could be if I could be comfortable with that fear, and then whatever happens next. Great topic. Thank you so much for bringing it.
Does that resonate with anybody else or anything we have said here? Lara, would you like to speak to that, Lara? Please? This is for other people, not for you.
Okay, of course. Yeah, I definitely resonate what she said. In retreat, I found myself like trying to go as far away as myself. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but there's a deep fear to just find something that I don't know what it is. But as I went deeper and deeper, it was more frightening. And I just stayed with that. But I remember that I cheat a little. I need to read more than usual just to not find that silence. That was my experience. No much more to say. I'm just still learning of that fear. From that fear, I mean.
Anybody online, Markus? Let's just check online for a moment.
Yeah, first I thought nobody online has a problem, but now they come more and more. So one first thing is about I live in the mountain. I think I love the silence, but no, I'm always connected with phone and emails and talk to my dog. This was one from Sandra. Yes.
Yes. One more in here for the moment.
Yes. Yeah. Do you hear me? Yes. Yeah. So honestly, I'm the person who talks a lot, and I love to talk, and I love when people talk around me, and I'm like your dad. TV, like everything has to be turned on, and I love people a lot. I really love people.
Slow down.
And I love when people talk with me. I love when people communicate, and when I remember my first time I came here and it was silent, I was so scared to death. I'm like,
You have been translated, so please speak slowly for the translators.
So I was scared to death. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I will not open my mouth. Nobody will talk with me. I was so scared because I don't know how I can just be quiet. I cannot, you know. And I was really afraid, you know. And then I find out that it's so much when you close your mouth, you kind of like find your inner world, which is very interesting. I never have dealt with it, that I have something inside me, and then I'm like, wow, I can think, you know, slowly. I can sleep. I never sleep actually during the day. I can sleep, and honestly, it was an amazing experience because I think I become more happy about it. And I even start practicing this in my house when I challenge myself, when I yell at kids or I do something bad. I told, okay, today you're gonna fast for the words, fasting. No more words, so fasting, do not use any words. So close your mouth, zip it, you know? And this is my fasting now. So when I talk too much, I mean scream and yell and do something, this is actually, retreat helps me to find out a new, what is this, life hack, yes? You know, when I do talk angrily or with my kids or yell, I close my mouth for a few hours or 1 hour, you know, and I do not talk. Sometimes like half of the day, I do not talk. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So, silence, what is it? Is it just the lack of sound? What do you think, Markus?
For sure, it's not only the lack of sound. I mean, you can see on different levels what silence can be. I would take the one layer, which is when silence can be when we withdraw from daily life and go into a space where your normal life is stopped, and the normal life is away from you. This is one silence for me, like going out from daily life, from work, from family life, from everything around, and go into a space where you can be alone with your mind and not distracted in a way that cell phone, computer, work colleagues are a distraction for you. This is for me one level of silence. And this can affect a lot my inner silence. Meaning when I go into the retreat and pull away all the stuff around, then I have the chance when I'm aware that I can go within and experience the silence in me. And when I go there, then we all agreed that the mind does a lot of things, and we can be aware and watch that what he's doing and process it much more, and we can go deeper into our mind, having great ideas when we go deeper in retreat. There are a lot of benefits when we go inside into silence.
Me?
Please.
Yeah, I would add, I totally agree with Markus, and I would add that it's kind of, I love metaphors. It's kind of, you have a chest of jewels and you opening it in the retreat. It could be you just open it a little bit and you can look there and see something. Then you close it, going out of the retreat and wait for the next one. The next one could be longer, could be different, and you open this chest is a bit more like a box with jewels, and you open it a little bit more and you can see even more. And then it's coming a day when you can open it totally and you can find all the jewels inside and they're shining. And you can even play with them. You can take them. And I don't know how I can, it's like, how can, my point of view, how can describe how apple tastes for a person who never tastes apple? How can you describe sunrise or sunset to a totally blind person from birth? You have to try it. You have to try it by yourself. Then you can really understand what is it. What is it silence? What is it retreat? And when you're going deeper, you can open this chest of beautiful treasures by yourself. So everything we can say just words. And the feeling you can get, it's much, much, much more, much bigger. Right?
Yes. So what is silence? We've said that it's not just closing our mouths, listening to music, being on our electronics. It's also not reading materials in retreat. We're talking about silence in retreat at the moment. That are not associated with the retreat, right? They're not things that will support you in retreat. So I heard that somebody said, well, can I bring books into retreat? Right? Can I read during retreat? My question to you is, why would you want to bring a book, a novel, into retreat?
Because I don't know what to do there.
I want to know I got you. What do you guys think? Outside distraction from what? From yourself. And when do you get to meet yourself? In that silence. So is there a fear of meeting yourself?
Wow.
Who has that? Who thinks that there's all this crap underneath that you don't want to look at? Let's be honest. Yeah? Yeah. And that's a real palpable fear, right? That in that silence, one, I'm going to meet things that I don't like about myself. Two, I'm going to meet memories that I don't really want to think about. I had another one I was thinking about. It's gone. You want to add one?
I can meet there something frightening. I can meet there black side of myself.
Right.
And I'm scared of it. I don't want to meet it.
Markus, what about you?
Yeah, I would also add, like you connect with your not so liked emotions in different ways, like fear, worrying can be one emotion I experienced. Guilt can be one emotion I experienced in retreat. So there's a lot of variety what your mind can do with you in the retreat and show you old stuff which come up from years ago. But this is the one side. The other side, I think we have also talked about what can happen in a good way in a retreat. And this is the motivating thing why we should do retreats and why it is good to do retreats is that sure, stuff will come up and we will have to deal learn to deal. It's like a muscle we train. Doing retreat is kind of that. But when we go in retreat, both sides, the good things and the bad things will come up and will show itself. And when you have these moments of deep realizations in retreat, then you know, okay, it's really good that I'm going into retreat. But it has, on the other hand, the other side of also emotions can come up, and we have to balance that. Yeah, right.
From my own experience, if we try to suppress those negative things, or quote negative things, that's just a label, right? That they're going to come out and eventually create your world. So you have this incredible opportunity in that silence to look at it, work with it, and be done with it, right? And that's one of the incredible benefits of the silence. So it doesn't have to flower in your world, right? So I guess I'm trying to give you a pep talk about going into silence. And it's anything but silent, because you are hearing what's going on inside of you 24/7. And it might get boring, yes. I've had some retreats where it's like, do I have to really think about that again? Aren't I done with that? You know? And that's where patience comes in, right? Being patient with ourselves. Not getting angry at our dark side, not getting angry at being bored, not getting angry at whatever, I don't know. You give me some things you might be angry at. People, events.
Something happened in the past, we can resolve that.
Something happened in the past. And we have this incredible opportunity, just like Rosa said, to look at that and not blame them. We have emptiness. We have wisdom. We have seeds. We have tools to work with all of that stuff that comes up, right? So Kadrin, how have you used, and I'm using patience, both in not getting angry, not getting frustrated, I think, is maybe a bigger one. We want something in retreat. We have this goal, right? And if we don't reach that goal, we get frustrated. That is also part of not getting angry. So how have you worked with that?
I have a beautiful experience. I was doing retreat in the house of one of my friends in Austria, in Vienna, and it was the last house of the village close to the forest and to a small river. And before retreat, I decided I will see emptiness directly. This retreat, now! And I thought, why should I think maybe one day? No, I will do it now. And I have this strong desire to do it. I was in the mood, I will do it. I make boundary markers, and it was a day of starting retreat, and I went to forest to put boundary markers. And it was a lot of dirt, and I couldn't, in my white sneakers, I couldn't get there. So I came home, I changed my shoes into rubber boots, and I went through this dirt, through this water, and I tried to make good boundaries to just prevent myself of any distractions. And I found a good big tree on a bit of small hill to put there one of my boundary marker. And I have so strong desire to do it. And I claimed this small hill to put this marker to the tree. It was very hard, and I did it. And I thought, yes, I have done this. Then I will see emptiness directly. I did this, I will do that. I dedicated. I was happy. And at the end of the retreat, it was about 2 weeks or something. At the end of the retreat, I didn't see emptiness. I was upset. And I had to go and take out the markers. And I almost wasn't able to reach this point of the tree. It was super high, it was hill, it was dirt. I even couldn't climb there. So my goal was so strong, my desire was so strong that I did it once, and then it was super hard to take it out. So then I realized that this is the obstacle. This strong desire could be an obstacle to reaching your goal. It was a surprise.
We have about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more left, and I'd like to ask both people online and those here, what are some of your obstacles, do you think? Because then we can address those. We can, before you go into retreat, we can talk about those and try and give you some of the strategies that all of us have used in retreat. What is your obstacle to silence?
Hi.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering if you have any advice for navigating the difference between noticing what's coming up, like the emotions and the old thoughts and the old patterns, and like attaching to them too much, because sometimes when I'm in retreat, like the first couple days are fine, or the first day or two is fine, but then like when old thoughts come up, I'll kind of like start obsessing over them, or like going into them too deeply, or trying to like intellectualize them too much instead of like feeling them, and you know, I feel like I'm more fighting with them or fighting against them than fighting with them. So I wonder if you have any advice for that.
Markus, did you hear the question?
Yes, I heard the question. And that's a good one. It's really good. Yeah. When you really go into the retreat, I think one of the most important things you have to do is really first, I will do the retreat. I want to do the retreat and will stay in the retreat. And so to really say it to you. And then that means that stuff will come up. And stuff will come up in a positive way, but also in an emotional way. We will have emotions which are really heavy, which are not so heavy, and it always depends on how we approach it. And we try always to stick in the meditation and not to get attached for emotions. At least that's my experience. And I had one experience about guilt in the retreat, and that the process of that took me a couple of days. to process that and find a way out. Maybe it helps you when I tell you this story. So it was the topic of guilt, which was for me very heavy in the retreat. I had guilt of being in the retreat, of leaving my family and my surrounding alone, and they have to deal and with their lives alone, and worrying about there's some stuff happening. And so I had this guilt about this topic. And first, it is good when you have awareness about that. And you realize, oh, there is an emotion coming up. It can be underneath your whole process, the whole retreat, and distract you, and you cannot realize it and do not realize it. So first you realize it. And what helped me the most in retreat, which takes pressure out of this topic, is applying emptiness on it. So meaning realizing, okay, that's a seed which opens. It's a hard seed right now from the emotion side, but it's a seed which opens up right now. And this was for me, one layer which I had the feeling I could go out of the topic a little bit, of the emotion directly. And so it took me a day to really process that and then get out of this feeling of emotion, this strong, strong feeling. And it happened after this one day 2 times more, that suddenly another topic came up, another topic which had the same structure, the same emotion, and I was applying it to that, and suddenly I realized it is all seeds coming up all the time. Yeah, and after the 3rd time, I was only laughing about the 3rd topic which came up, which was really a small topic then compared to the first one, but still it was some kind of guilt going on in this emotions, but it was never so hard anymore, and I had really to laugh about that because it was the 3rd time which came up. And for me, it helped a lot to apply really emptiness, to realize these are seeds, and then you can withdraw from the emotion more and more. And it's a process. It's not going, if you're in such an emotion, it's hard to say, now I stop it. Or I'm not allowed that it doesn't happen. It's not good that it happens. Yeah. So it is a process. It takes time to overcome that and realize that. I hope that helps in a way.
It sounds to me like you were using some patience with it and working with it. Right? Again, tying those two together, right? Thank you. Did that help, Mike? Yeah. Is there anybody online who has a question? Oh, I just saw somebody say, I'm afraid. Where was that? Sure, 1 minute.
I had the same problem going into 3-year retreat, and what I did was at the start of each day, for a whole year it took me, I would write down all of the purification topics I would need to address, which would ripen as emotional disturbance or anxiety or whatever. I would make entire lists, hundreds, and I would do 4 powers on them. I spent a lot of time doing 4 powers, but I would take them in mass, in bulk, and I would just get them out of my head at the start of the day. And the list got shorter as the time went by, and it really put my mind at ease.
Thank you, Kadrin.
We can add that Venerable Kadrin also finished her 3-year retreat, 1,000-day retreat. Thank you, Kadrin. Venerable Kadrin.
So Ekaterina says, I'm afraid to come into contact with something stronger than me. I'm not sure I know what that means. Ekaterina, if you can give us a little more information, maybe we can address that. Somebody else says going into retreat is like moving an elephant. Does anybody else feel like that? How hard it is to get into retreat? Yeah. When we decide to go into retreat, or when we even begin to think about going into retreat, the seeds for it are expensive. We need a lot of seeds to go into retreat. It's very expensive. And that's why before you go into retreat, you have to do, remember those 4 pillars from G-Box? Serve, teach, study, meditate. Pardon? Move your body. Wasn't there something about having a teacher in there?
Serve the teacher.
Not just the teacher. Serve, serve, serve. That's was the theme of Diamond Mountain when it started. You don't come here to learn to serve. You come here to serve, and then you'll learn. Right? That, and if you're going to do a long retreat, you know how hard it is just to get here for a week or 10 days. You have to line everything up. To do a retreat for any longer period of time, you have to start 6 months in advance or years in advance preparing for it, because you need to gather together the seeds to be able to do a retreat and not be spit out of the retreat. Right? So that's how you move an elephant. Right? That's how you move an elephant. Any other questions there online, Markus? I realize that I'm afraid to meet face to face with myself. Who does that resonate with? Anybody else? The rest of you have no fear of that? Wow, that is so cool. That is so cool, right? The beautiful thing about, maybe I should let somebody else answer this. Do you want to answer it?
Maybe Markus.
Okay, Markus, do you want to answer it?
I can try to, yes. If you like, but I'm happy if you both add or give some ideas to that too, because I did answer the question before, so.
Yeah. Meeting ourselves face to face. How many faces do we have? How many selves do we have? Right? A lot, right? Is there a real Eva who can stand up? Not even in her own mind, right? We get to know all of these aspects of ourselves. And then we can care for them. If it's a hurt part of you, you can care for that hurt part of you, right? If it's a part of you that you think is fantastic, you can rejoice with that part. The thing is, I think the scary part is we just don't know what's there, right? But we do, because we see it appearing in our world. Our world is a reflection of what's in our hearts, of who we are. And the more we can access that and get in touch with it, we can work with it, and we can change our world. Cool? Yeah.
May I add something?
Yeah.
my last retreat, Venerable Gyelse gave me a book. It was the book from Geshe Michael's Silent Retreat Teachings. And I read it a little bit and realized that, guess what? I wanted to see emptiness directly, right now. Not so hard, a little bit kind of making a step back. But I realized that when I come to the emptiness meditation, my best meditation is in the morning. So in the morning I start my meditation, and I have this, so I can observe my thoughts in retreat. And I realized that when I come to this point where I can go deeper, I kind of, in my mind I say kind of, later, not now, tomorrow. And it was not like thoughts, like thought. It was kind of feeling inside. So I will kind of come to the wall, touch the wall by my finger and go back. And it was feeling inside. And of course it was fear. It was fear to go deeper. And from one side, my mind said, go. And I felt that, tomorrow, next time. Oh, retreat is over. That's it. So it was kind of some part of me that was scared of that. So, and for me, probably it was when I come deeper there. What can I meet there? Emptiness of me. So no me. So a point where is no me at all. Of course it's scaring. It's scaring. And this, at that point, it was the main thing I was scared of. So I disappeared. And by my mind I understood no, but the feeling was that, like, if there is a small amount of percent that I might disappear, I won't go deeper. I just don't want to go there. What if I disappear? And this book helped me a lot because I read in Geshe-la's teaching, I don't know why, in Geshe-la's teachings from 3-year retreat that he said, when you come to the wall, you have to push a little bit and go deeper. And somebody had to tell me that. Then I decided, this is what I supposed to do. Oh, okay. I just didn't know what to do. I was kind of stuck in this point. And then I was able to make this step a bit deeper. And it was really deeper. So it felt like it's much deeper, but it was 1 millimeter deeper. But it felt like, wow, I did it. So I did the step. Nothing happened. It was just a bit deeper meditation. But I made a step into that fear. And then I realized that there may be much more kilometers there to the point I want to reach. But I was able to do this millimeter. This is my fear.
How many of you have done retreat? What are some of your obstacles? What are some of your fears that came up in that retreat or you might have about doing retreat again? Again, for everybody online and in person. And Markus, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to add a question which is like came once and then a couple of people were commenting. It's my question too, so maybe we have time then to discuss this question when the time is right. Yeah.
Cool. Nobody had any obstacles in retreat? Oh, Sarah did.
I did. I have a lot of obstacles.
Just speak slowly, please.
I can admit I have a lot of obstacles. Mine that I noticed have to do with control. So I don't have a problem so much with music or social media or TV in terms of consumption, right? Like bringing things in. And I watch like my son, and he'll be stressed and he will start doom scrolling because, and I can see that he's looking for something else to interrupt his thoughts, right? He wants to interrupt that thing, or maybe sometimes people will snack because it's like, oh, give me something else because this thing, I don't want to look at that. It hurts and I don't want to look at that. And so sometimes I've noticed in retreat, I might start cleaning the bathroom. Or
this is what I do also.
I always have a clean bathroom and kitchen, and tidying things, and a lot of movement, because for me, movement is a way to interrupt my thoughts and things that are uncomfortable. And sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I can do mantras. And that's an interruption, but it's also a tool that I'm using to not look at the thing that's uncomfortable. So I can say in my mind, well, it could be worse. I'm not on YouTube, you know. But it's still a method to avoid looking at myself and looking at my fears or looking at my trauma. And so one of the obstacles that I recognize is I need to identify, and it's really difficult, am I doing this thing as part of my practice to observe and to be curious and to care for myself so that I can care for other people when I come out of retreat, while I'm here and when I come out of retreat? Or am I doing this to avoid something that I came here for specifically? Like, I want to go inward. I want to understand these things. I want to look at my fear and my triggers and I joke about them being like hangnails, the things that I get snagged on. But then when I come to them, am I avoiding them? Or am I, do I need to step back and care for myself, or do I need to like lean into it more closely and observe it?
Yes.
Yes.
There's no black and white answer to that, in my life at least. You're your best judge in many situations, right? And especially when you're in retreat, you have to be a judge of that. And if you need a distraction, can that be okay? Right? I think it has to be okay. We have to be patient with ourselves. I'm not ready to look at that now. Let's just put it on the shelf. Right? But you're going to be, nobody can really see, or I don't know. An enlightened being can see what's going on in your mind. But if you're a normal human being, like, I can't judge what's going on, and you are the best judge of that in my experience, right? And you might need a distraction. Sometimes if we push too hard, we get, like Kadrin was talking about, this pain in the heart, or you get obsessive about cleaning your cottage, right? Just be aware. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Know that that's what you're doing. This is how you get to know yourself. What about other people? Anybody else?
I can ask online.
Yeah.
Hi. What happens in retreat for me is it's like a magnifying glass of everything that you normally have in a reduced manner. So I know from myself that fears come up, and that's my biggest enemy, because I've done 4 months retreat, and there is not a single retreat in which I'm not standing in front of the grave of my daughter, because you're afraid of losing people. Yeah. And to answer your question, when these and they become strong. And when I have mental afflictions, it could be jealousy, although you're totally alone. It can be this fear of losing people. I just go all the way. I just go there and I stand there and I say, yes, if my seeds are that, I will lose people. And there's nothing I can do about this, because samsara sucks. And then I take this renunciation into my practice and remind myself, because then you want to go out. You want to go home, because you feel like if you touch her, you can protect her, which you cannot. And so I go with Markus on that. I take a deep bath into emptiness. I remember myself of seeds and how the world works. And then I go back to, remember, this is why I'm here. Precisely to protect the people I love and to create a better world. And I'm not afraid of my fears. I go there and say, yeah, okay. I look at my worst demons and say, yeah, that's true. And so what? And once you face your fears, they disappear. And then you can go back and say, okay. And I agree with you on, you have to just really feel yourself and be responsible for yourself. Because when I have a lung, just like a small side of lung, I immediately drop everything. And my fingers in retreat are the best ever. Normally my fingers are not well cared for. In retreat, I have the best manicure ever, because when I just say, okay, I drop it. I don't have to do anything. There is no must. I sit on the balcony, I do my fingers, and if I do that quickly, I can pick up my practice immediately. If I put pressure on myself, then you lose it for days. So one of my things is face your fears, use it for your practice, and when you're at a point where you cry, then cry, and don't meditate. Do your fingernails or whatever pleases you, and then you can pick it up again. You have to know who you are, and you have to be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you. You can see it here as well, but in retreat, I've noticed how subtle the line can be between right effort and overexertion. Would you please share a few signs or practical pointers that help distinguish genuine practice from effort that has become excessive and is no longer beneficial to the mind and body? I think this also reflects back to what we were talking about before, about being obsessive about things. And Markus, I've been doing a lot of talking.
So I didn't get the question right. So can you help me to find it?
Can you post it again, you guys? It's in the, he's looking in the chat.
Kadrin, Ukrainian, asked this question.
She says, in retreat, I've noticed how subtle the line can be between right effort and overexertion. So at what point does it become excessive and is no longer helping? And so, at what point does it roll over into being a practice that is helpful and not helpful because you become obsessive about it?
I think from my experience, when you really listen to your heart and to your whole system in a retreat, And you have to be that aware in a retreat, especially when I do longer retreats. You have to be aware where your mind is and how much pressure he puts on you, and maybe not. It's always a balance of every day's capacity. Like, which capacity is today my capacity, which I can use to go further and deeper in retreat. And the most important factor, I think, is our body and mind, in the sense of Eva also talked about having lung, like this being nervous, having tight chest, having symptoms in the body. The body shows us in retreat very good because you become more subtle. If you're overpowering or if you're not overpowering. And I think that's the most important thing, to be every day sharp on that, where do I stand. And when I'm in a longer retreat, every day is completely different and completely another day. If I feel there's a continuation in my retreat day by day, retreat shows me that every day is different. Really, it is, for me, it's every day. So what I learned, to not overdo it and not too less, to really feel what every day in retreat, what does my body mind say to me, and how much can I do on this day, not to overdo it, and really carefully listen to that, and being patient with oneself. Yeah.
I think one of the things I've learned early on, as Markus says, is every retreat is different. And it's like learning to ride a bicycle again. You know, oh, that time it was really bumpy and I had to learn how to guide myself over it. And doing retreat is like learning to ride a bicycle, right? It's, as Markus again said, it's building up a muscle. So we're almost at time here. We have 3 minutes. Markus, is there any last thing that you would like to share about dealing with fear of retreat or silence with people?
I think we talked a lot about the problems which can occur in retreat. And I think I would address at the end, still, I think when you're in a retreat, there is so much things in a positive way which can happen in a retreat, and things which really are worth to do a retreat. And the one thing I really realized when we go in retreat is, this is the place where we can change ourselves, really can change ourselves and our world around. And that's the most powerful thing we can go and we can do, is go into retreat, even though there will problems come up. But this is a really strong place to go, a strong place to be, to change ourselves and the world around us.
Thank you. What about you, Kadrin?
I would say that just be patient to yourself. So today we are discussing perfection of patience. To be patient, it not just don't get angry on that guy who is yelling at you or your husband in the kitchen. It's about being patient to yourself when you want to do something but you're not ready to that. Okay, just be patient.
Being kind to yourself, knowing where your mind is at, having awareness, loving. You're learning to love yourself, right, in retreat. All of yourselves, right? That is who makes us up, right? And so I guess one of the last things I would say is make sure that you have someone who can guide you into retreat, who can help you, who you can talk to if you need to. And my Lama, during 3-year retreat, all his advice was relax. Relax and have fun, right? That takes care of so much of this that we've been talking about. Just relax and have fun, right? Thank you, Markus, for tuning in from the other side of the world for us today.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me.
With all of your wisdom and experience, and thank you, Kadrin, for yours as well.
Thank you, Venerable Gyelse. Thank you for your wisdom and your love.
And thank you to everybody here who spoke both online and here in person. Your questions, your experiences, we all grow richer through it. So thank you. And of course, to the translators and our incredible tech and staff team.
Recordings people and the whole tech team. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you everyone for joining this Firehouse Masterclass. And let's thank to Benjamin Gyelse, Kadrin, and Markus for sharing this session with us. We hope this offers insight, encouragement, and a deeper connection to the teaching. Thank you for being here with us as ACI Firehouse. Thank you.
offerings to